Hello, welcome back to the woods and welcome back to another in the Bushcraft on a Budget series, and this one is all about tools. And if you're new to the channel, remember to subscribe, and if you enjoy this video then remember, hit that like button. Now, tools, it seems, play a fairly big part in bushcraft. Indeed, if you go to any meetup or gathering, you'll see all manner of different sharp and pointy things that people will bring along, and it will be a fairly major point of discussion throughout your time there. In this video, we're going to look at, well, what you actually need and what your options are if you're on a budget. Now, I reckon you need 4 items, 4 main tools. Number one, and it's the one that's probably going to get the most use, is a pocket knife of some description. That's the thing that's going to get used 70–80% of the time. It's going to be there for cutting string, trimming little bits of wood off as you're out on the trail. It's also probably going to get used for your food prep. So number one is that pocket knife. Item number 2, well, that's going to be a folding pruning saw. So sharp and long, it would grace the belt of any samurai. Because when you're out on the trail, you can use it for gathering stuff. It's also really useful for when you're prepping firewood, and it's also very useful for craft projects. Number 3, a fixed blade knife. Designed by bushcraft guru and handmade by elves, and when you buy it, you too shall inherit the power of the craft. And that's going to be there to help you with your crafting, whether you're spoon carving or shaving feather sticks or whatever. Some sort of fixed blade knife. And finally, number 4, an axe. Hammered by Thor, in the forges of Valhalla. And again, that is going to be there to help you with prepping firewood, but also for some of those crafting tasks as well. So we'll start off with pocket knives. What are your options? Well, yes, there are handmade specialist bushcraft folding knives, but I tend to go for one of two knives. I'll either go for this, and this is my little German Army issue pocket knife. I picked this up at a surplus shop, cost me about £10, and I've had these off and on for about the last 30 years. They're great. They do everything that I want to. They've got a main blade, they've got a corkscrew, they've got a reamer, they've got a combination saw, screwdriver, tin opener, etc. on there. I've done a video on these. These are great. As I said, it only cost me, I think, about £10. There are some very good copies out there, i.e. they're very good in that they look like these. What the actual quality of them is like, I don't know. Try to get a genuine one. This one is made by Victorinox, and it is a really, really pucker item. The other one I go for is one of these, and this is the good old Opinel pocket knife. This is one of the number 8 garden knives. So it's got a stainless steel blade, the usual handle, made from beechwood, and it's got that twisting ring which locks the blade firmly in place. Obviously, because it's a locking blade, it's not strictly legal in the UK. However, I carry one of these in my cooking gear, and it's used for my food prep, and I use it for crafting and all manner of other things. It is a cracking knife. It's very, very lightweight, and again, that item there was only about £10. You can pick up other ones. You can pick up carbon steel, the more traditional ones, and again, they're not going to cost you a lot of money. The ones you want are either the number 7 or the number 8, and they're really good items of kit, and they don't cost an awful lot. So next up, we're going to look at saws. Now, there are all manner of different ones out there, and the ones that are really popular at the moment are the Silky saws, and you can get those. They do the pocket boy, which is small and fits in your pocket. They do the gom boy, they do the big boy, the katana boy, all manner of different ones, ranging from that long to about that long. And they're very, very good. They cut very aggressively. They're made from a Japanese steel that's highly tempered. They're originally used by arborists. They're ideally set up for what we do in bushcraft. They're also quite expensive. You're looking for one of the gom boys, which is a sort of mid-sized one. I think they're about 40 odd pounds. The one that I've used over the years, which is one of theirs, and this is the Silky F180, and it's one of their economy ones. It's excellent, but the downside with these is where they're very, very highly tempered, the blades can be a little bit brittle, and if you're not brilliant at using a saw, i.e. your technique's not particularly good, and these are a pull cut saw, and you're a bit too rough with them, these can snap. Indeed, the end has come off of this one where I lent it to someone else. I was lucky, it was only the end. I've seen others snap off here. These are only about £20. You can get replacement blades if you do break them, but they come out, I think the cheapest one I could find, the replacement for one of these, was £23. Don't know how that works. Another saw that you'll see me using a lot if you are a follower of the channel is one of these, and this is one of the little Opinel saws. These are very lightweight, great bit of kit, very, very aggressive set of teeth on it, cuts very, very efficiently, and it's big enough just to go in your pocket. Now these, I think you can pick these up for about £23, £24. Good item, very lightweight. The downside with these, well, they suffer from the same thing that the Silkies do. This blade has a tendency, if you're not careful when you're using it, to snap. This is the second or third one I've had. The problem with these when they snap is you can't replace the blade. so you have to go and get a whole new one. They do a bigger version that you can replace the blade, but again, the blade is as expensive as buying a whole new saw. The other item that is very, very popular is one of these, and this is a Bacho Laplander. I've had this for years. I've got a couple of them. They tend to be my teaching saw, because if someone says to me, can I borrow your saw so I can do some cutting? Yes, they can, because I know they can't do any harm to one of these. Yeah, they're not as aggressive as the Silkies or the Opinels. However, they still cut very efficiently. The blade can withstand quite a bit of abuse. Indeed, they can be bent and bashed all over the place, and you literally just bend them back again. They are a cracking bit of kit, and you can pick these up for about £20. The blades cost less. I think they're about £16. I found a replacement blade for one of these, so it's something, if you do damage the blade, and that's pretty hard to do, this can be replaced. If you're on a budget, this should be your choice. It's a really, really good bit of kit. They don't cost a massive amount. They're not particularly cheaper than any of the others, but they are very, very good. Next thing we're going to look at is knives. Now, there seems to be a big thing about custom knives, handmade knives, and they are indeed very, very nice. Something with a lovely leather sheath, with a dangler, with a handle in a wood of your choice, made to your design or to a maker's design, and well, you can spend as much money as you like on one of these. If you're going to get a good one, you're probably looking at, I don't know, anything from about £120 up, and there is virtually no limit, it seems, on what people will pay to get their hands on one of these. But if you're on a budget, do you really need this? No, I don't think so. There are other makes out there. There's ones like Condor, etc., that come with a leather sheath. They're a mass-produced one, and a lot of people are very happy with those. I tend to use, and if you follow the channel, one of these. It's more a classic, one of their red-handled little carbon steel ones, designed for woodworking. They are a phenomenal piece of kit. Indeed, I've been using these for years and years. They are brilliant, and they don't cost a lot of money. Trying to get hold of one of these original ones is a little bit more difficult. They've relaunched them. You can get ones that look the same. I believe they've still got the rat tail tang, but it comes all the way up through. You can pick one of these up for about £25. But more do lots of other different ones. You can get their little 511 ranges, which I think they're about £10–11. You can get the Mora companions, I think they're about 12 quid. All outstanding knives and all really, really good. And if you're just starting out, well, you don't need a custom knife. You need something that you can learn the skills with. You need something you can learn to sharpen. And then if you want to get one of those at a later date, then do it. Another really good option is this. If you want something that you can batter, you won't go far wrong with one of these. This is a Hultafors OK4. OK standing for outdoor knife. Comes with a good sheath. The knife itself very, very robust. Mora brought out their Garborg and the cancer bowls, which are quite expensive. You're looking at, I think a cancer bowl's about £50, a Garborg's about £80. These, you can get these for 15 quid. They will take as big a battering as either of those. Indeed, this tends to be, if I'm on a job where I know my knives are going to get abused, splitting wood, all of that type of stuff, this is what I go for. And as I say, £15, great bit of kit. If you're on a budget, you can't go far wrong with that. There's another one that's even better and an even better deal, and that, well, it's the one you saw me using, carving a spoon. This is a Hultafors I think they call them the Craftsman range. It's a carbon steel blade. It's not Swedish, it's Japanese, although Hultafors is a Swedish company. Comes with the same very secure sheath, good sized handle, blade geometry is excellent for crafting. These, wait for it, I hope you're sitting down, are only £3.95, less than £4 for a brilliant little knife that you can learn how to craft, learn how to use, and not worry about damaging it or breaking it. Then if you want to get a more expensive one later on, then do. But to get you started, if you're on a budget, one of these, a Hultafors Craftsman knife is the way you want to go. Next up, we're going to look at axes. Well, do you really need one? Would be my first question. I got by without one for years, just using a knife and a pruning saw. These are great. This is it's the one that everyone wants. It's a Gransfors Brook Small Forest axe, as made famous by the guy on the telly. When I bought this one, quite a few years ago now, I think it was 50 quid. I bought it off Johnny Crockett from Survival School. The only reason I bought it from him was he lived in the village up the road from me, and he said he'd drop it round, so saved on postage. Researching this video, I looked up, these are now £115 each. Yes, they're a nice bit of kit. Yes, they are hand forged in Sweden. The guy that forged it hammers his initials in it because that's what they do, that's what you're paying for, that level of quality. But these £115. The smaller one, the wildlife hatchet, the cheapest I could find that was £124, which to me seems like an awful lot of money, especially as they used to cost less than half. There are other options out there. Hultafors do their own hand forged version of this. I think it's called the Hunter's Axe, and that one comes in at, I think it's £94, so straight away there's a saving there. It still seems quite a lot of money for an axe. Hultafors do another range called the Agdor range. They're a bit more mass produced. They do them in different weights, and they do a 900 gram and 800 gram, which this is, which is a cracking axe. It's really good for splitting wood. It's good for some of your craft projects because it's got quite a good bit of weight. It's quite narrow. It's a good item, very good item that I've had for years, and it's seen an awful lot of use. You can buy a smaller one as well, which is this one, and this is the 600 gram. These retail at £35, this £45, so a massive saving. They look good as well. You've got that sort of more traditional style head, you've got a decent wooden handle on it. They are a good bit of kit, very good bit of kit for not a lot of money. Another option you might want to consider is one of these. Yep, a tomahawk. This is a cold steel trail hawk. Now these, they seem to be quite difficult to get hold of at the moment in the UK, but they are an excellent bit of kit. Very lightweight. Indeed, quite often I carry this and an open L pocket knife if I'm going lightweight, and that serves me for everything. These are about £40, but they are a good bit of kit. Really good bit of kit, and again, that's a lot less than the wildlife hatchet that's coming in at, I think it was 124, £40. But there's an even cheaper option out there, and again, it's the one you saw me use in the beginning of this video. This is a Bacho hatchet. It's got a £1.25 head on it. I got it off, well, somebody, I did a Google search for it, and it cost me £11. Yes, it's made in China, the head is cast in China. Yes, when it turned up, the handle that was on it had a lovely big bright orange bit on there, but the grain was completely pissed and the wrong way round. Indeed, it was had a knot just under the head, and I was going to replace the handle anyway. It was a good job that I'd already ordered it, because the handle broke on the first outing. The head, however, once I'd replaced the handle, took me a while to clean it up and to put a half decent edge on it, but it takes a half decent edge. Indeed, Bacho is a very well renowned company, and yes, they've had these heads made up in China, but it's probably been made to a spec. So the steel is actually, it's pretty good, takes an edge, holds an edge. The blade geometry, etc., makes it very good for craft projects. And as I said, it only cost £11. If you put that with that, that's £15 for your main two tools. That and your little Bacho pruning saw for 35 quid. Suddenly you've got all the tools you need. So there's some folks out there who'll tell you that you have to have all of the finest handmade kit if you're going to be really good and really into bushcraft. No, you don't. Some of the most talented practitioners that I know carry nothing more than a little Moore knife. The great Mors Kahansky Moore knife. There's a guy called Patrick McGlinchey who runs Backward Survival, who's an artist. The stuff that he turns out is absolutely amazing. This is all he uses. If you have a dig around on YouTube, there's a guy, he hasn't posted for a long time, but he used to post a lot about 10 years ago, a guy called Hob Exp. I'll put it underneath, look him up. He's called Freddie, lives in Sweden, does some amazing stuff, and again, he uses one of the cheapest of the cheap Mora type knives. So it's not about the gear. There's a lot of people out there who've got all the gear and no idea. I've seen them rock up with their small forest axe, and it's as blunt as hell and it's all chipped because they've got no idea how to maintain it. And yet there are other people who use something, they've got a yard sale for a couple of quid, and yet they turn out some of the most beautiful kit and some of the most beautiful projects going. So bear that in mind. If you're on a budget, you don't need to spend a huge amount to get the tools that you need. Now, if you enjoyed this video and you found it useful, then remember, hit that thumbs up button. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, remembering to hit those notification bell thingies. Down below in the description box, you'll find a link to all my social media, my Instagram, my Facebook, etc. Pop over there, give me a follow. There's also a link to my Etsy shop, which is at the moment it's got a few items in. It's got the patches, so you've got the woven one and the leather one. I'm about to restock on the EDC light pouches, the Forester pouches, and there's a load more of my mini Moore scarves coming up as well. There's also a merch shelf down below. Pop over there and have a look. There's all manner of different range of t-shirts and sweatshirt, all sorts of stuff. Pop down and have a look, and it's all stuff that is actually designed by me. I actually drew it with a pen. It's that good. Something about that, you can only seem to be able to order it if you're on a laptop. You can't do it via your phone. I'm trying to find out from YouTube why this is. So if you do want one of those and you're viewing this on your phone, you're going to need to look at your laptop, go underneath to the merch shop, press on an item, and it will bring it up and it will take you there so that you can buy it. Anyway, I think that's everything. I've been Neil, and until next time, stay safe.